Hello and welcome to another Every Tuesday tutorial. In this week's tutorial, we are going to be creating a wedding seating chart utilizing the data merge function in InDesign. It doesn't sound like the most fun thing to do ever, but I promise, please hang in here with me because it is a very powerful technique to use and it can really make you look like you know what you're doing when you are integrating data or large amounts of data into your designs. Charts, infographics, even wedding seating charts can utilize this function. So I want to walk you through it and show you how it differs from traditional data merge where you would have a bunch of data that you would spread throughout numerous pages. Here we are taking a list of data and keeping it all on one page. So this is really good if you have bulleted lists full of data. So right here you can see this is the final outcome. This kind of matches the style of the Save the Date postcard that we created together last week. So I'll leave a link in the video description to that tutorial if you're interested in that. But for now, we are going to walk through this and take care of it. The font that I'm using is my own font. It's called Miss Magnolia. I'll leave a link on screen and in the video description for that. And the watercolor florals that you see are from my watercolor leaves and florals kit, which I'll leave a link on screen to that and a link in the video description, as well as a link to my free watercolor florals mini kit. So you can check that out as well. Okay, so we're just going to hop right in. So first things first, I want to show you how I created this design. I actually used Illustrator to do this. So I just laid it out. This is 11 by 14. Let me show you my document setup so you can see all the increments right here. So it is 11 by 14, so 11 inches tall by 14 inches wide. It has a 0.125 inch bleed, which is the standard bleed on print material, which is 1/8 of an inch. So it's also in CMYK, and you can see this is the bleed line right here for the red. And all I did was typeset this, dropped in my watercolor floral graphics, and that's all I did right here. So after I did this, I saved it as an Illustrator file so I can always come back and change it later if I need to. And then I exported it as a JPEG so I could use it inside of InDesign. So in order to do that in Illustrator, all you have to do is go File, Export, Export As, and when this screen pops up, make sure you choose JPEG down here as your format and be sure to check Use Artboards, especially if you have elements that are bleeding way off your artboard like I do with those floral elements. So just be sure that this little checkbox is checked right here, and you can just do all or you can just do a range of one because we only have one there anyway. So after you hit export, when this pops up, make sure that you have 10 right here so it's highest quality, and I kept my resolution at 300 ppi since that's the print standard. Everything will be super crisp and beautiful that way. So I've already saved this as a JPEG, and from there you're going to come into InDesign. I've got InDesign Creative Cloud right here, but this will work with any version of InDesign, I believe CS3 or newer. So from here all I did was go File, New Document. I copied my exact same settings. So I've got 14 inches wide by 11 inches tall. Down here I toggle down bleed and slug. And you can see under bleed, you don't need to worry about slug right here. I just kept that 0.125 inches maintained and everything else is good to go. So just hit create right here. And now we've got our document. And from here, I went File, Place, and I chose that JPEG that we created from Illustrator. And I just clicked and you can see it, it's a perfect fit right here. You're just going to toggle this up to this red bleed line over here. And then we are all set to start putting our data in here. So you can see I've left some spaces right here. So when you get ready to do this, you're going to put in some text boxes first, and then you're going to tell InDesign where to pull that data from. So I'm just going to hit T on my keyboard, or you can grab your text tool right here, and I'm just going to draw out one text box first. And from here I can adjust all the settings of how I'd like my text to appear once all the data is applied to it. So with my text box selected right here, I'm going to hit right here for Align Center, so I've got Center Align Text. I'm going to change the color of my text, so I'm going to toggle this down and choose CMYK, and right here I'm going to type in 90 for my cyan, 70 for my magenta, 40 for my yellow, and 20 for my black. So it's actually the same dark blue that we used in our Save the Date postcard. So over here under my character palette, I'm going to use my font, Miss Magnolia, and that's all set. And I know that I want this to be 30 points just to speed things along, and we are all set here. So now I can kind of drag this down so I got a bunch of room right here, and I can just copy this for these other table areas. So I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard, click as I'm dragging. I'm going to hold Shift and just place these text boxes throughout the rest of the document. So all of our text will be input right where it needs to go. Okay, so from here now we're ready to bring in our data. So that requires Excel, which many people will have their data stored in Excel anyway, but I want to show you the difference between doing it the right way and doing it the lengthier, longer, more difficult way. First of all, I want to show you how a traditional document will look. This is the incorrect way to show it, even though it seems like the natural course of action for something like this. This is different because when you are arranging your data this way, InDesign is going to think that you want each of these names on a different page in these boxes. It doesn't know that you want them listed out all together since they're depicted in their own individual cells. So I've saved this list as seating incorrect. It's a CSV file. So when you save this, you're just going to go File, Save As, and then you're going to choose CSV right here in the file format. So I've already done that. So once you're in here, I'm just going to show you. So just pay attention to this part. Don't follow this part step by step, just to show you how that comes out so you don't make the same mistake or waste any time on that. So what you're going to do is come over here to Data Merge. And if you don't see this over here, you can get to it by going Window, Utilities, Data Merge, and it'll pop open. And what you're going to do is toggle down these 4 little lines right here and choose Select Data Source. So we're going to choose the seating incorrect just to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to hit Open, and then with each of these text boxes, I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click on the table. So Table 1, Table 2, and you can see our text is appearing exactly as we customized it earlier. So now I have all of these tables in here, and if I hit preview, you can see that just one name appears. They're not appearing in a list. And you can see I can page through over here on my preview, and I've got multiple pages now, like I'm up to 5 pages worth. So that's what happens when you have names in individual cells. And you can see it can be pretty difficult right here. So I'm going to undo everything I just did. So now I'm going to come in and show you the correct way of doing it. So right here you can see it looks a little complicated, but I promise that it's not. We have our names all listed in the same cell for each table. And that's really important because we want things to appear as a list on the same page versus multiple pages. And we have separated each name, even though it's going to be basically another line right here. We've separated it using the pound symbol. You can actually use any symbol that you'd like right here that is not included within any of these names. So I chose the pound symbol. You can choose whatever you want. So that's what I've done right here. So you can see I've got multiple names in each cell that kind of go on. And now I'm going to show you what the difference is when you use this one. So I've saved this as a CSV file. Once again, to do that, File, Save As, and just make sure you choose CSV right here for your file format. And I'm going to come back into InDesign, hit this little toggle down and choose Select Data Source one more time. This time I'm choosing my seating correct, which I've previously saved. Hit Open, and now I'm going to select each text box and do the same thing. And so far everything looks exactly the same, but once we preview it, you'll see why it looks different. So now I'm going to check this little box for preview, and you can see all of my names are included, and I don't have multiple pages. This is the only page that I have. So everything's looking good, minus the fact that we have these pound symbols in here, and we need to get rid of those later, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So once you're all ready and everything's looking good, you can hit this little icon right here to merge your document. So click that, and when this pops up, we're not using multiple records, even though it seems like we do have multiple records because it's a list. Since we're keeping all of this on the same page in the same text boxes, it's going to be considered a single record. So records to merge, all records, but right here, records per document, we're using a single record document. So once you have this input right here, just hit OK, and now it's going to create the new document. It's just going to let you know that no overset text, so we don't have any text running outside of our text boxes. So I'm going to hit OK. And now you can kind of see how everything looks. I actually just noticed that my line height seems a little excessive. So I'm just going to select all of my text boxes right here and just come over to my character palette and reduce this down a few points, just so it's a little more comfortable right here. That looks good. So I've got 28 for my line height or my leading and 30 for my point size. So from here, now we just need to adjust this pound symbol, get rid of that, and kind of list everything one by one. So in order to do that, it's actually really simple. All you have to do is go Edit, Find and Change. You're going to input your pound sign right here, and then you're going to change it to a paragraph break, this is the symbol for that. And if you don't see it showing up down here, all you have to do is toggle this little A right here and choose End of Paragraph. And then you can hit Change All. And once you do that, it'll tell you that it made those replacements, hit OK, and then hit done. And now you can see it's listed all these out. It got rid of that pound symbol, and now we have it exactly as we'd like it to be. So we can preview how this looks like without all these extra lines in here. So I'm going to zoom out, and then over here, if you toggle this down and choose preview, it'll get rid of all those lines and give you an idea of what the final printout will look like. So that's how to create a wedding seating chart in InDesign using data merge with a design created in Illustrator. So kind of a lot of things working together, but really handy to know for future projects. And if you'd like to see more of the traditional way of using data merge with multiple pages, I also have a tutorial on that, which I will also leave in the video description. So just head down there, click on that link, and everything mentioned in this tutorial will be right there. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe. I release a new design tutorial every single Tuesday. And don't forget to head on over to my blog, every-tuesday.com, for even more design tutorials and a bunch of design freebies. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week.